Welcome to TroyPSilva.com. This week's video blog is on how to actually improve as a hitter when your swing is as good as it gets. Make sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. Make sure you try to go to TroyPSilva.com if you're interested in me helping you with your hitting. Check out the hitting analysis as well as the skills assessment and the mentoring program. How to actually improve as a hitter when your swing is as good as it gets. Think about that for a second. When your swing gets to a certain level of as good as it gets, perfection, what do you really do as a hitter to really improve? This is where most coaches fail. This is where most kids get to a point of changing things just to change things because they think they got to change things just to continue to make improvements. So if your swing gets to a point, maybe it's 12 years old, maybe it's 18 years old, maybe it's pro ball, I don't know. If your swing gets to a point of, that's the way it is, that's the way I roll, that's the way I like it, you got to get to a point where what's next? And quite honestly, that's where real hitting begins. I think most coaches fail these days because they never really get to a point of real hitting because they're so consumed with the swing mechanics. It's swing mechanics, swing mechanics, swing mechanics. If my swing sucks, this is going to happen. This is the bad results. If I pop up, it's my swing. If I ground out, it's my swing. If I line drive it, it's because of my swing. It's swing mechanics, swing mechanics, swing mechanics. And quite honestly, they never get to the point of really helping, truly helping a hitter because it's always focused on the swing. Get to a level of swings this, swings that. Now I want to get better. Now I change it to here. Open my stance, lower my hands, do whatever it is I got to do to continue to make an adjustment. And that's not how hitting works. At least that's not how real hitting works with real results. If you want real results, get the foundational part of your swing finished, accomplished, get it done. You're going to make minor adjustments the rest of your life hitting. That's just the way it is. But once you get to that foundational level of this is what my swing does, that's when the real hitting begins. And real hitting begins with number one thing. The number one thing is you got to be challenged. Most kids these days aren't challenged in their everyday routines. They're not challenged in their everyday BP. It's like this consistent going through the motions type of attitude, thinking that they're really getting better, but really not really challenging themselves. So how do you challenge yourself? You know, a lot of kids don't have access to machines or anything like that, but so how do you challenge yourself? That's the question I get all the time. We have access to pro batters that can throw it 100 miles an hour with curveballs and lefties and righties, and that's what we do. There's ATEC machines, there's jugs machines, you can see curveballs. If you don't have access to that, just get your buddy or get your partner a little bit closer, get the ball on you a little bit closer so you're working on the reaction and recognition. Throw curveballs. There's kids that I work with every day. They say, Troy, I'm just not hitting curveballs very well. Well, how many curveballs do you get during the week? Well, I don't really work on curveballs, I work on hitting off the tee. Well, how are you going to hit a curveball in a game if you don't work on it during the week? Work on hitting off speed. Work on hitting faster pitching. Work on tough pitches like down and away. How many times you set the ball on a tee right down the middle and hit a ball up the middle and you're thinking you're doing awesome and hitting, and then you get in a game and you can't hit and you're like, oh, what do I can? And I go back to the tee and I fix my swing some more. Work on hitting pitches that are in tough zones. That low and away pitch, put it below the strike zone. Put it in a place where it's not your liking. Put it out of your wheelhouse and learn how to compete on that pitch. If you get jammed a lot, learn how to turn on a ball. That's how you're challenged. And that, quite honestly, is where coaches and kids fail. Number one, a lack of resources. I get that. And number two, they just don't know what to do and how to do it. Go get a wiffle ball, those little half moon wiffle balls or the blitz ball, and just have the ball move. Learn how to swing at strikes and lay off of balls. Learn how to see the pitch out of the pitcher's hand and make quicker reaction. I think the reaction time these days of hitters is one of the major flaws that most hitters never really understand because they never work on it. The reaction is really going to make you a better hitter. Can you react quick enough to see the release point? Can you see the spin? Can you see the location? Can you adjust to the different velocities? Those are the things, if you're challenged, that are actually going to create better real on-field results for you when you actually get into the game. So make sure you're challenged. That's the number one thing from this video, is if you want to take your hitting to a higher level, be challenged, and not just be challenged occasionally. Be challenged on a regular basis. I went to Lewis Clark State College, played for one of the most psychotic coaches in America. Shout out to Ed Chef, thank you for making me a man. And we had everyday BP, 6 cages, machine lined up in every one, different pitch, fastball away, fastball in, slider here, left-handed curveball, and you go from cage to cage to cage to cage, and he just looks at you, tells you how bad you are, and you figure it out yourself. So we went from basically cage to cage to cage, seeing this pitch and that pitch and this pitch and that pitch, and you figure it out yourself. The reason why we did so well, I did so well, is because I figured out how to be challenged in my everyday BP. But fast forward to these days, 2017, and it's T station, soft toss, front toss, occasional live arm, and then call it good. How are you really going to get better if you're not being challenged? Especially if you're a really, really good athlete and you have some skills. You got to be challenged to get to that level. So make sure you're challenged. That's number one. The second part of this is most kids never get to the point where they're actually working on pitch recognition and vision. How to see the pitch, how to recognize the pitch. The vision is huge. You go ask any big league hitter, you know, when they're struggling, they're saying, I'm not seeing the ball very well. Every one of them, I'm not seeing the ball very well. They don't say, oh, I'm dropping my hands, or, you know, I'm chopping down at the ball. They don't say that. They say, I don't see the ball very well. So how many times as a hitter these days do you actually really go spend time and effort in working on vision, seeing the ball better, and pitch recognition? Not very much. How do you do that? You say, well, you got to get creative. Get some wiffle balls, dart it at you from 10 feet away, and really try to see the release point from the pitcher. There's tons of different tools and stuff out there that you can work on that. The point is to just take responsibility to actually work on it. Take responsibility to know that, hey, if I want to be better as a hitter, I got to see the ball better. I got to recognize pitches better. And the only way to do that is do it on a regular basis too. Get, you know, 100 to 200 repetitions where you're just seeing the ball. You don't have to hit. Just sit in there and see the ball, see the ball, strike. And just see it over and over and over, and see curveballs, and see lefty, and see righty, and see split fingers, and see all that stuff. So when you get into a game, you're not basically affected by it because you've seen it over and over and over. Pitch selection is a big one too. I have a lot of kids that I deal with. They say, well, you know, I'm not hitting the ball very well. Well, right? Well, why not? Well, I swing at bad pitches. Well, why do you swing at bad pitches? Oh, I don't know. Because you hit the ball off a tee for 45 minutes every day. The ball off the tee is not going to help you recognize pitches and react. So the pitch selection stuff could be one of the major factors that you're struggling in a game. You're taking pitches you should crush, and you're swinging at pitches you should lay off of. Work on it. Too many times we do what? We get in the cage, we're hitting off a tee, you're doing soft toss with a buddy, and you're just swinging the bat, and you're talking, and you're swinging the bat. Hey, I'm swinging the bat. And you don't ever work on getting the pitch in the zone. And you don't ever work on laying off of pitches outside of the zone. The pitch recognition, the pitch selection process is one of those things that if you work on a regular basis, guess what? In a game, it starts working better. And guess what? If you swing at strikes and you lay off of balls, you're going to be a better hitter. So spend some time and effort into doing that. Instead of just feeding front toss into your wheelhouse, try to be challenged and throw some balls out of the strike zone and have some good takes. Good takes equal good swings. If you take good swings, good takes happen too as well. You got to work on the taking portion of it too. And too many times we just work on the swing, right? We're just, what's my swing doing? What's my swing doing? And you never work on actually stopping your swing, being ready to hit and stopping that. Do it on a regular basis. Learn how to see the ball, recognize what the pitch is doing, recognize spin, recognize, you know, what the pitcher's release point is, and adjust to it. Another one that we basically hardly ever work on, I know I work on it a lot, is almost every lesson that I do year round, is bat speed. Bat speed creates confidence. Let me say that again. Bat speed creates confidence. It creates confidence in your ability to recognize the pitch and react quicker. You trust yourself to see the ball and get there quicker. Bat speed also creates power, which creates what? More confidence. So I don't care who you are. I don't care what size you are. I don't care if you're Altuve. I don't care if you're a big 6'6", 250-pound donkey. I want you to learn that bat speed creates confidence. And bat speed hardly ever gets worked on. You can fix a lot of things wrong with your hitting if your bat speed's better. But how many times do you work on that during the season? You work on finessing your swing, and you actually lose bat speed. You lose bat speed, you lose confidence. You lose confidence, you don't see the ball very well. Ball beats you, and you think it's your swing's fault. So work on the bat speed. During this time of year, I think we're in what, November, December right now? Like a great time to work on some heavy bats. There's the hitting jackets, there's heavy swings, there's tons of things you can do to actually work on bat speed, and you get that little tiny bat in your hand and you just feel more confident. You feel like you can swing the bat quicker and see the ball better and react to the ball better. So the bat speed is something that usually we never get to because of what? We're hitting the ball off the tee trying to finesse our swing all the time. So the bat speed is something, if you want to be, you know, an elite type of hitter, work on it. I'm not saying you have to work on it every day. In season, I get it. You probably don't want to swing heavy bats too much during the season, but understand that bat speed can make a big difference in your hitting. Another one to work on is plan and approach. How many times do you really work on plan and approach? I mean, if you're on the field in high school and college, it's like, yeah, you get them over, you move them in. But that's not really plan and approach. How many times do you really work on that in a BP setting? Maybe in the cage, maybe indoors. We're in Seattle and it's freezing right now. It's like we're indoors a lot. So most of the time you're indoors, you do what? You put a ball on the tee, you hit a line drive. Oh, I'm doing great. That's awesome. Work on the plan and approach. Work on adjustment making. Work on the counts and the situations. Work on trying to basically see the ball in certain areas when you got a 2-0 count. Work on to adjust your approach if you have 2 strikes. Those are things right there that most people never really get to as well, and then they wonder why they can't hit in a game. When you get some pressure, you get some anxiety, you get some, you know, the fans screaming, and you get that winning run on second base and you don't know what to do because you really never work on plan and approach. Plan and approach is basically being intelligent. Most kids these days don't spend enough time and effort in learning the instincts part of the game and intelligence part of the game. Watch the game. World Series is over, so there's not much baseball on right now, but watch the game. Watch it. That's when you learn, okay, this pitcher threw this pitch in this situation because this guy was on deck and this guy was on second. That's how you understand the game. You also understand umpire strike zones. Ooh, this umpire's got a big strike zone on the outer half, so stop complaining that I can't hit that pitch and learn to adjust to that pitch and figure out how to adjust to even the umpire strike zone too. It's all about being intelligent, and it's all about understanding the game and paying attention and watching the game and actually working on your plan and approach during your BP sessions too as well. So the intelligence part plays a big factor, especially if it kind of takes you to that elite level. If you're smarter than everybody, understand it without overanalyzing. And that leads in probably to the last one. Is this is something that we struggle with too, is like you got to work on the pressure and anxiety part of hitting. Most kids struggle with this. Most kids, they get into that situation where it's their turn, they're on deck. Maybe it's a late in the game situation where there's a lot of pressure and anxiety. Maybe it's just early in the game and they just can't handle it, where the pressure, the spotlight is on you, and you got to be able to calm your heart rate, take a deep breath, relax, and be confident in the box. If you learn to control the pressure and anxiety part of hitting, I guarantee you're going to get better as well. But most of the time we do what? Hit off a tee, soft toss. What I like to do sometimes when we're doing some team training and stuff is turn that music up really loud, have the kids get around the cage, start yelling at them, learn to compete and focus when you got stuff going on. But most of the time the pressure and anxiety stuff is never really worked on, and then you wonder why you can't handle it when you're in a game setting. You're never going to be able to simulate a true game. That's just reality unless you're doing game settings all the time. But find a way to add in some pressure, add in some anxiety, add in that heart rate that you have to calm down, and you have to control what you're doing, and you have to get in there and compete. So those are the major things that I see that will take your hitting to a whole different level, and these are quite honestly things that most coaches never get to. I mean, you might dabble in it sometimes, you might work on some bat speed occasionally, you might work on some plan and approach occasionally, but these are things you got to do on a regular basis. Come up with a specific plan. You know, maybe you do Monday bat speed, you do Tuesday approach. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you have to do it this way, but I am saying this. If you really want to advance your hitting, if you really want to get better in a game, these are things you have to do. These are things that are must-dos, and these are things that if you don't do them, you're never going to be the best hitter you can possibly be. So work on this stuff. Don't just sit there and hit off a tee for 4 hours every day and expect that you're going to get good game results. Troy's not saying to never hit off a tee. I'm not saying that. I am saying that don't spend most of your time doing something that's not going to actually basically prepare you for the game. So if you really want to get better, take these things and work on them daily. Really put forth the time and effort into really challenging yourself and get those challenging repetitions and keep battling, keep working hard, and your game will definitely improve. God bless.